Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Look here, y'all. In the first episode, I broke it down how DB, ended up, with this beautiful woman from another side of town, how he used her, drained her as the parasite that he is, and turned her into, a shell of her former self, and eventually getting to the point to where he beat her almost to death, right? And then he ends up going to prison because she had the courage. She found the courage to testify against him in court. When the case was very weak, her word against his, no physical evidence at all to be able to lock him down, right? But the jury believed her story. The circumstantial evidence that was presented, they believed it. They sentenced him to prison. Now, he's in prison. He's come up with another beautiful woman, but this woman is not as cultured, is not as educated as the one that he almost killed. She's a little bit more dependent on him financially, and he uses that to his advantage. And he takes advantage of her, and he does what a parasite does. He has her locked in on him. But one day, when he mistreated her and talked crazy to her, just by chance, as it always happens, somebody was there to say something nice to her, to share a kind word with her. And it made her feel good. He had done, meaning DP, he had drained her and pushed her so far beneath who she thought she was, even though she had her own issues, that she didn't think anybody cared about her. She didn't think anybody would want her. And she is a beautiful woman. I saw the pictures, y'all. But she had begun to believe this man. And it baffled me, because when he would talk to me about her, it was nothing nice. She was always his B or his H. She meant nothing to him other than to satisfy his time in here and to do the things that he needed her to do. So when he pushed and he pushed and he pushed, and she gave in and gave in and gave in, and then that one day when somebody said something nice to her, she forgot about him in that brief moment. And now it's like that brief moment, those brief seconds of separation from him, pulling that parasite off of her, is that brief time gave her that opportunity to punch reset. But in a lot of situations like this, especially when it's matters of the heart, that reset only lasted a small amount of time. Because when he called her back, again, being the type of person that he is, insecure, narcissistic, he pays attention though. Keep in mind, listen to me, ladies. I need y'all to hear me on this. I really need you to hear me on this. A person that is insecure, a person that is into hurting women, you understand? A person like that is very attentive. See, that attentiveness is what tricks y'all. Because, see, you probably haven't had anybody to smother you with that type of attention. It's gentle at first. It's accommodating. It's all about pleasing you. But then, the switch gets turned on. And it's something that is innocent, or that's something that you don't think is too serious. That the parasite, DB, or somebody like him, they see that as an opening. This is the opportunity for me to execute the rest of my plan. It's a playbook. Steal the heart, take the mind, break the body. Because once they do that, they can control you. Steal the heart, take the mind, break the body. Remember that. Because that's what they do. DB was good at it. And he had done all three of those things. But he knew that he had to reset himself. And he did. And the result, it appeared to him, was success. She said all the right things to him. But see, in the back of her mind, In the back of her mind, there was something going on. There was something going on. She was thinking about this dude. She was thinking about this dude. If it was all about DB, then she wouldn't have been thinking about this dude. DB knew this. So he's panicking. Now he's calling. He was already calling 3-4 times a day. Now he's calling 5 and 6 times a day. He wants to know where she's at, what she's doing at all times. And see, in here, that happens a lot. See, it's okay if that's what she wants. But if that's not what she wants, trust me, she's going to find a way to relieve that pressure that she's having on her. Because you're smothering now in a way that she don't want. Because she don't have the time to try to satisfy and figure out what is this going on over here? Why am I thinking about this dude? She doesn't have time to figure that out. So now she's going to get frustrated because she got 2 things going on at the same time. She got to figure this out. So she needs some break. She needs a break from you. You feel me? And that's what she did. So one day when he called, guess what happened? No answer. She didn't accept. And this went on for 3 or 4 days. Listen to me, y'all, when I tell you, this man freaked out. He went into straight panic mode. He was trying to find any and everybody that could reach out to her and find out what was going on. He's trying to pay dudes to go over there to check on her to see what was going on. For whatever reason, he couldn't get anybody to do any of that. So it was a straight cutoff. Think about it. When a parasite attaches itself to a host, and then for whatever reason, somebody pulls it off, however it comes off, that parasite at that moment is starting to die because it can only survive how? Attached to a host. And that's how DB's mind was wired. He could not make it without her or somebody in his life that he could leech off of. Not financially, he had money. You feel me? I'm talking emotional leeching. Somebody that would make him feel good about himself because he didn't feel good about himself, especially when he was by himself. So he needed to be attached to somebody. His insecurities were that strong. And it didn't matter that he treated the person badly. That was part of the playbook. He treated him, he stole everything from him emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You feel me? And in doing that, he, in his mind, ensured that they would need him more than he needed them, and they would stay. As opposed to lifting her up, he tore her down. That was his playbook. Make them so dependent on you that they won't leave. Make them feel so bad about themselves that they'll believe that nobody else wants them. And that's what he did. But something happened, y'all. Something happened. She went her way. And when she went her way, things started to get bad for DB. Those 3 or 4 days that she didn't answer the phone, he didn't know what to think. And then one day, on that 5th day, she answered. When she answered that, look, let me tell you about these phones in here, these state phones. Let me tell you something. When y'all answer the phone for us, right, it takes about 20 to 30 seconds before we can actually talk to each other. You feel me? There's some dead time in there. And I'm wondering if they be charging us for that dead time. I think they do. But anyway, they said dead time in there. So during that dead time, until he can actually say hello and she can say hello and all this and that, he's thinking, how should I go about this? What should I say? How should I say it? And then when she answered and said, hello, guess what he did, y'all? I bet you can't guess what he did. Right now I'm saying, guess what he did. And I'm going to tell you in a minute. But if you don't guess what he did, if I'm right, not about me being right, but if I tell you what he did and you didn't get it right, hit me up in the comment section to tell me, Joe, you got me right there. Hit me up and let me know that. But check this out. This is what he did, y'all. This is what he did. I'm giving y'all a couple of more seconds to try to think what it was that he did. 1, 2. That's enough. It's a couple of seconds. This is what he did, y'all. He broke down and started crying. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. He started crying. Why have you not answered the phone? Are you okay? Are you okay? She was like, yeah, I'm okay. Well, what's going on? Why you ain't been answering the phone? And he's choked up. He's choked up. But it ain't real. It ain't real, y'all. It's game. It's all game. And she said, I just needed some time. So the phone went silent. Because now he's trying to figure out what to say. This is uncharted territory for him. He doesn't know how to respond to this because this is genuine. She's being honest and genuine with him. She needed some time to figure some things out. He's realizing he doesn't have the hold on her that he thought he had. So he goes silent because this is uncharted territory for him. He's in a dark place. But he can't stay there for long because his body, his physical reaction is going off. He's getting enraged, but he's trying to stay calm because he's in a desperate situation right now. He's in a desperate state. He believes, he feels with every core of his being, she's finna go. So he's holding on, keeping himself from saying what he's feeling. He wants to lash out. So he says what he thinks she wants to hear. Well, if you need some time, just let me know. Let me know. I'll give you some time. How much time do you need? She said, I don't know. I don't know. But you can call, and if I'm not busy, I'll accept. He said, okay. He said, do you need anything? She said, no, I'm good. Even though she did. She knew what the game was. Those few days separated from him gave her clarity. She has to find her way. She don't need him. And he's realizing that she's realizing that. So she says, I gotta go. Doesn't even wait for him to say bye. She doesn't say I love you like she normally would. She hangs up the phone. Oh, look here, y'all. This man about had a heart attack. He sat there, head down, still holding the phone. He was holding the receiver for so long, you could hear the thing, the where it started to busy, like, The phone's doing like that. He just sitting there, holding his chest with one hand and the receiver in the other, like he about to die. But his face, now he's a darker type dude. He ain't light-skinned or nothing like that, y'all. But look here, he looked red to me. I'm talking about his blood pressure was sky high, but he just sit there. And people would walk by and say, you using the phone? He just look at them. Then they keep walking because he had that killer look on his face at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what just happened? What just happened? He didn't understand what to do or nothing. So he called her right back. She didn't answer. She did not answer. And that went on for a couple of months. He called her every single day, dozens of times a day, but she didn't answer. He was losing it. He was struggling. It was getting really bad for him. And he didn't understand why he couldn't move on. He would not do it. And I'm going to tell you why. See, a parasite wants to be the one to do the detaching after they've sucked the host dry, drained them of everything, killed them all. Then they'll detach. But see, that's not what happened. He got plucked off, and it pissed him off. You don't leave me, I leave you. If I can't have you, then can't nobody have you. Sound familiar? Whether you're a man or a woman, does that sound familiar to you? Do you know somebody like that? See, DB got angry. Now he wants his lick back. She would answer here and there every now and then. But it was over. She had her somebody else that treated her like she deserved to be treated, that accepted her where she was at and tried to help her become a better person together, right? He couldn't take that. This man had so much money that he had made. Now, he wasn't rich, but he had enough money to spare. He hired a private investigator to track her down and take pictures. Took pictures of her with another dude and had them sent in to him. Come on now. And he would just sit there and show people them pictures and talk about, I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill her. That's what he would do. Now, some of his homies, you know what I'm saying, they told him, look, man, you need to move on, man. Leave that girl alone, man. And he was like, nah. She don't do this to me. She don't do this to me. Now, he had people all around him telling him, it's time for you to move on, man. Leave that girl alone. But he didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that. And see, that's what happens to us, y'all, when we allow ourselves, whatever we went through as children, whatever we went through as kids, right? When we come to that point in our lives where we understand something is not right here, right? Why am I feeling this way? Spend some money and time on finding help. Don't wallow in that and continue to hurt people. He knew that what he was doing was wrong. He knew that wanting to hurt her was wrong. He knew that sending a private investigator over there to take pictures of her and this new guy that she had was wrong. But he didn't want to do anything about that. See, you don't have to know what kind of mental issue that you have. If you haven't had a mental break, I'm talking about a mental break from reality. And he wasn't in that space yet where he had a mental break. You feel me? He was having some mental problems in accepting that she had moved on. So he hadn't had a mental break. He realized that something was going on with him. Instead of doing something about that, he wanted to what? Throw gas on the fire. All of the things he did only made him angrier. And that's what we do. We get so involved in this behavior that makes us angrier that we miss the point of like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Why don't you ask yourself that question? So here's the thing with DB. Years have gone by. He's still wallowing for this girl. She's moved on and got a baby with this dude. Now, he's got somebody else and he's going to visit. He's still doing his thing, but he cannot get over the fact that she left him and he didn't leave her. He can't let it go. So he's getting ready to get out the penitentiary, y'all. Yeah, you know. The first place he's going to go is pay her a visit. Now think about this. This man been locked up 6 years or close to it, right? Instead of going to get him something to eat, instead of going to spend some time with his gal, any of that, he's going to see his family, any of those types of things. He wants to go and say something to this girl that had left him years ago and moved on with her life. That's the most important thing to him. He's going to do it. But then when he pops up over there, he's in for a rude awakening. He knocks on the door. Guess who comes to the door? She does. When she comes to the door, her eyes got big as $50. Guess what he does? Stupid man. He puts his hand around her neck and he pushes her back into the house. But wait a minute. The stupid man that he is, he didn't realize that it was a house full of people. House full of dudes. Her man, his friends, all of that. He ain't paid no attention to that. And guess what they did? Now, I know y'all thought this was going to end bad. I know you did. Because see, that's how your mind working. Come on now. All of them ain't bad. All of my stories ain't going to end bad. You feel me? And this one ain't. Because you know what they did to him? Well, it was bad for DB. It's bad for DB. But when I say I'm glad that it ended the way it ended for DB and not for her, you know what I'm saying? All them dudes in there got up and whooped his butt. I'm talking about whooped him. Whooped him good. Whooped him real good. And then they did what you're supposed to do. They called the police and they came and got him. See, now, some of y'all wouldn't have called the police. You'd have took matters into your own hand and then you'd have been in the penitentiary. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. I understand. You put hands on him because he put hands on that woman, done forced his way up into that house. You got to secure the dude. And you might have went a little overboard. I know that. I know that because they did. But still, once he's down, he was asleep. They put him out. Put him out. And they could have gone and done him in, but they didn't. They called the police, told the police what happened. She pressed charges. They came and got him, and guess what? This man didn't even go get to see the new girl that he was with. He didn't get to eat a free meal or nothing. They took him straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And he was sitting down there with another charge for domestic. And the judge did not give him a bond. And he didn't deserve one. He didn't deserve one because he was a danger. All because he could not let that girl go. All because he couldn't let her go. And that's what I want you to understand about this series that I did. How a bad relationship will change your life. And see, a lot of you might be thinking that I'm talking to the men, but I'm talking to the women. I'm talking to the women. I'm talking to the men too, but more so the women. Because I want you as women out there to understand, take your time when you're trying to get to know somebody. And while you're getting to know somebody, don't give them all of you. Be stingy with it. Every part of you. Your mind, body, and soul. You need to be sure what you're getting into. Because if you make the wrong decision, look, you pray about everything else. You pray about everything else. Talking about God going to send you somebody. But do you think God will send you a dope boy? But keep in mind, I ain't tripping that, you do it. And keep in mind also that, when you're praying for a man and the man can come in a 3-piece suit and be working at a Fortune 500 company, and he can be just as bad as DB. What I'm saying is be discriminating in how you go about learning who you're going to be with. What are their values? Talk to some of the people that know them. You got to do some homework. Just because you lay down with them don't mean you're going to change them and have them doing what you want them to do. That's part of, look here, I can't express it enough. That's part of the shook. Y'all don't know what the shook is. I'm going to have to tell you about that in an episode one day. Y'all don't know what the shook is. That's part of the shook. So it don't matter whether it's a street dude or a corporate dude. A bad dude is a bad dude. A bad dude is a bad dude. And it's ways to peep them out. And I'm going to talk about that in some other shows that I do. I'm going to get to that. I promise you, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. But for right now, I got to go, y'all. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.